Listen real carefully. Whatever God backs, Satan attacks. Today on the 260 journey, we're going to see a desire the Apostle Paul had to be with the Thessalonian Christians, but it was fought by Satan to stop it from happening. I wonder how many things we have in our hearts to do that is fought against by Satan himself. Listen to Paul's desire and Paul's fight in 1 Thessalonians 2. It's verse 18. We really wanted to come to you. I myself tried several times, but Satan always stopped us. We have forgotten that we have an enemy that wants to disrupt our plans. Sometimes the best confirmation that your plans and desires are from God is Satan's attack on them. The last thing the devil wants you doing is the will of God. Paul had a desire to go to this new church in Thessalonica, and Satan was bent on stopping the apostle from visiting. Sometimes Satan succeeds. Those last words of the verse reminds us of the warfare that we are in when Paul says, I tried several times, but Satan always stopped us. These weren't the words of a one-hit wonder. This is the Apostle Paul. And Paul tried a number of times and could not seem to get through Satan's roadblocks. C.S. Lewis was right when he said, there is no neutral ground in the universe. Every square inch, every split second is claimed by God, but it's also counterclaimed by Satan. Always remember there is a counterclaim against what's happening right now. Whatever God backs, Satan always attacks. Or as Robert Murray McShane says, when Christ is nearest, Satan is busiest. See, the closer you get to what God wants you to do, the closer Satan comes in. Some people don't believe in the devil. In fact, I love the story of two six-year-olds who struggle with the problem of the existence of the devil. One boy said, oh, there isn't any devil. The other one, rather upset, said, what do you mean there isn't any devil? It talks about him all the way throughout the Bible. The first one replied, oh, that's not true, you know. He's just like Santa Claus. The devil turns out to be your dad. I wish that was true. See, in his classic work, the Screwtape Letters, C.S. Lewis reminds us of two errors that come to us in our belief of Satan. He says this, there are two equal and opposite errors into which our race can fall about the devil. One is to disbelieve his existence. The other is to believe to an excess and an unhealthy interest in him. They themselves are equally pleased by both errors and hail a material or a magician with the same delight. You can give the devil, he says, too much or too little attention. The Illustrated Bible background commentary of the New Testament gives us an insight into the enemy's tactics. In fact, the Greek verb that's used here literally means to cut into, originally referred to the military practice of cutting up a road so as to make it impassable for a pursuing army. Paul wants his readers to know that his present absence from them is not due to his personal choice, but really to the activity of Satan, who in typical military fashion destroyed the apostles' path back to Thessalonica. We are evidently no friends of Satan. Like the kings of this world, he doesn't war against his own subjects. The very fact that he assaults us should fill our minds with hope that we belong to God, J.C. Ryle said. I want to challenge you today. What is it that you've been trying to do lately that you really are convinced is something that God wants you to do, but you can't seem to make it happen? Maybe you're being hindered by Satan from doing God's will like the Apostle Paul. Maybe it's purity in a relationship. Maybe it's inconsistency in reading the Bible. For some, it could be going to church or even serving at church. For some, it may be forgiving an offense that's still lingering in your heart. Whatever it may be that you've tried multiple times but failed to gain any ground on it, what should you do? It may be time to launch an air attack. What's an air attack? Let's remember the old hymn that William Cowper wrote. Satan trembles when he sees the weakest saint upon their knees, which means the best way to overcome Satan's obstacle is on our knees. There's a strange animal called a gnu, G-N-U, and when it catches sight of one of its predators coming at it, its enemy, it immediately drops down on its knees and from that position springs into the attack mode. Is someone out there getting what I'm thinking about here? Here is a new GNU way to fight. We see our enemy putting up obstacles like he did for the apostle, immediately assume the position. On our knees, soldiers, that's how we fight. Thanks for joining the 260 Journey.